I trusted her with my everything, every secret, every hope, every shattered dream, and I believed her when she said, "I love you," with a sincerity that lit up even my darkest days. I built my world around her, carving out space in my heart that I thought was reserved for only us. But one unsuspecting afternoon, as I was sifting through old emails to organize our life memories, I stumbled upon one hidden message that shattered my certainty. There, tucked away in the depths of my inbox, was an email I wasn't meant to see, a confession of a double life with another man. In that heart-stopping moment, every promise, every whispered forever, dissolved into bitter shards of betrayal, and I realized my world had been built on lies. I still remember the early days when everything felt so pure. We met at a mutual friend's art exhibit, where the vibrant colors on the canvas paled in comparison to the brilliance in her eyes. I was drawn to her warmth and the way she listened, the way she seemed to understand every unspoken word. Over time, our connection deepened into something I believed was rare, a love that felt destined, as if all my life's choices had led me to her. We spent long summer evenings talking under starry skies, dreaming of a future where our hearts would forever beat in harmony. I trusted her implicitly. Every vow she made resonated within me like a sacred promise, and I never doubted for a moment that our bond was unbreakable. Life moved gently at first. We shared countless adventures, quiet moments in cozy cafes, spirited walks in the park, and vacations that filled our hearts with joy. Our conversations were deep and full of promise. She told me about her hopes and fears, and I confided in her every secret. Our relationship, built on mutual respect and admiration, grew stronger with each passing day. I believed we were writing a beautiful story together, a narrative where trust was our foundation and love was our guiding star. Then, as months turned into years, subtle signs of disparity began to emerge. I noticed that she sometimes disappeared for hours, citing work commitments or personal errands that, at first, I took at face value. The soft hum of her phone would occasionally catch my attention when I walked by our shared space, and I would see a glimpse of a notification that made my stomach twist. I asked gently, "Is everything all right?" and she would smile, assuring me that it was just business. I trusted her words, convincing myself that our busy lives left little room for doubts. Yet, deep within, a seed of uncertainty had been planted, a small whisper I chose to ignore in favor of the warmth and certainty of our love. One rainy afternoon, as I was diligently organizing our old family photos and digital archives, an act meant to celebrate our shared history, I decided to clear out my email inbox. I intended to create a scrapbook of memories that would capture the essence of our journey together. Amid the cascade of messages, I noticed one that was oddly marked as confidential and dated from several months ago. Curious and unsuspecting, I clicked on it. What I read in that hidden email sent a jolt through me, as if the ground had been pulled from beneath my feet. The email was written in a tone that was both intimate and detached, a confession of a secret life that she had been nurturing behind my back. It detailed late-night rendezvous, meetings with someone I'd never heard her mention, and plans for future escapades that had nothing to do with our shared dreams. The words, as cold and clinical as they were, laid bare a reality that I had never imagined. I read it over and over, unable to tear my eyes away from the betrayal that unfolded line by line. Every "I miss you" and every promise of a new beginning with this mysterious man stung like 1,000 needles, each one a painful reminder that the love I believed in was nothing but a carefully constructed illusion. I spent the rest of that day in a fog of disbelief and heartbreak. My hands trembled as I clutched my phone, and I felt as if my heart had been replaced with shards of ice. The memories of our tender moments, our whispered dreams of forever, were suddenly overshadowed by the stark reality of her secret life, a life where I was not the sole recipient of her devotion. I questioned every smile, every touch, every "I love you" that had once filled our home with promise. How could I have been so blind? How could I have trusted every word she said when behind her eyes, a hidden truth lay dormant, waiting to be discovered? For days, I wandered through our home like a ghost, each room echoing with memories that now felt tainted by lies. I replayed the email in my mind repeatedly, each rereading intensifying the bitter taste of betrayal. I began to meticulously document everything: the timestamp of the email, the hidden folder where it resided, the contents of its digital confession. I created a file on my computer labeled Truth, where I saved screenshots and copies of the message, determined to preserve every piece of evidence that shattered the foundation of my trust. In the midst of this internal chaos, I reached out to a dear friend, someone who had always been my anchor in times of stormy seas. We met at a quiet, dimly lit cafe on a rainy evening, the perfect backdrop for a conversation laden with sorrow. I poured out every detail: the discovery of the email, the content of its intimate confessions, the relentless ache of betrayal. Her eyes welled with tears as she listened, and she squeezed my hand, saying softly, "You deserve to be loved with honesty. You deserve a future free from these lies." Her words, gentle yet firm, stirred something deep within me, a spark of determination that I refused to let this betrayal define me. That night, I sat alone in the quiet solitude of my room, surrounded by the remnants of our shared life, and I vowed that I would reclaim my future. I knew I had to confront her with the painful truth, to demand answers, even if it meant facing the heartbreak head-on. I rehearsed my words over and over, standing before the mirror until my reflection looked back with a resolve that I had thought was lost. "I trusted you with my everything," I repeated, "and now I see that trust was nothing but a fragile illusion." Each repetition was a promise to myself, a promise that I would no longer be defined by the lies that had been woven into the fabric of our relationship. The day of confrontation arrived on a bleak, overcast morning. Our home, once a sanctuary of shared dreams and laughter, now felt oppressive, as if the very walls were closing in with the weight of unspoken truths. I sat in our living room with the file of evidence open on my laptop, my heart pounding in a rhythm that spoke of both fear and unwavering determination. When she finally returned from what she claimed was an evening with friends, her eyes met mine with a fleeting look of guilt that I wished I could ignore. I took a deep breath, gathering every ounce of strength, and said, "We need to talk." Her face paled as I began to recount the evidence: the hidden email, the intimate confessions, the undeniable proof of a double life. "I trusted you with my heart," I said, my voice trembling with a mix of sorrow and fury, "and you shattered that trust with every word in this email. How could you live a life with someone else while promising me a future built on honesty?" For a long, agonizing moment, she was silent, the truth hanging heavy between us. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she tried to explain, offering vague excuses about loneliness and unmet needs. But her words, hollow and unconvincing, did nothing to fill the void that had been left by her betrayal. The confrontation was a maelstrom of raw emotions, a collision of heartbreak, anger, and the bitter realization that every promise we had made was a lie. I felt as though the world had been reduced to this singular, shattering moment: the discovery of that hidden email, the undeniable proof of her secret life, and the painful truth that I had been living in an illusion. The home we had built together, the future I had so lovingly envisioned, crumbled around me like a house of cards swept away by a sudden, ruthless wind. In the days that followed, I retreated into solitude, trying to process the enormity of the betrayal. I wandered through our empty rooms, each one a painful reminder of the love that had once filled them, now tainted by secrets and lies. I spent long, sleepless nights poring over the evidence, questioning every memory, every tender moment that now seemed like a cruel joke. The pain was all-encompassing, a relentless ache that left me feeling hollow and lost. Yet, even in the midst of that despair, I began to feel a quiet determination stirring within me. I realized that while this betrayal had shattered my trust, it also gave me the power to rebuild my life from the ruins. I was more than the sum of the lies I had been fed. I was a person of strength and resilience, capable of reclaiming my future and rediscovering my worth. I reached out to a therapist, someone whose compassionate guidance helped me navigate the turbulent sea of emotions that now defined my days. In the safe space of our sessions, I learned to process my grief, to untangle the web of sorrow, anger, and self-doubt that had taken hold of me. I wrote in my journal with a fervor I hadn't known before, each entry a cathartic release that slowly transformed the raw pain into a foundation for healing. I came to understand that while the scars of betrayal might never fully disappear, they could serve as symbols of my strength, a reminder that I had survived even the darkest moments of deception. With the support of friends and the steady guidance of my therapist, I began to rebuild my life piece by piece. I made the difficult decision to let go of the future I had once envisioned, a future built on promises that were now nothing but ashes. I took practical steps to reclaim my independence, starting with a consultation with a trusted attorney who helped me understand my rights in the wake of this betrayal. The legal process was long and painful, a series of meetings, court sessions, and the arduous task of dividing a life that had been built on shared dreams. Every document I signed was a step away from the past and a step toward a future defined by truth and self-respect. I left our home, a place filled with memories both beautiful and bitter, and moved into a modest apartment in a quiet neighborhood. I slowly transformed that space into my sanctuary, decorating it with vibrant colors and personal touches that reminded me of my resilience and my worth. As I began to piece together a new life, I also found the strength to share my story publicly. I started a personal blog, pouring out every raw detail of my journey, from the discovery of the hidden email to the long, painful process of healing. The response was overwhelming. Strangers, old friends, and even those who had experienced similar betrayals reached out with messages of support and understanding. Their words were a testament to the universal truth that while love can be a source of great joy, it can also leave scars that, when embraced, become symbols of survival. Each message reaffirmed my belief that I was not defined by the betrayal, but by the strength I had discovered in its aftermath. Over the course of the following year, I slowly rediscovered who I was before the betrayal, a person with dreams, passions, and an unyielding capacity for love. I ventured cautiously back into the world of dating, each new encounter approached with a blend of guarded optimism and the hard-won lessons of my past. Every genuine smile, every kind word exchanged, felt like a small victory against the shadow of deception that had once loomed over me. I learned that true love must be built on transparency, that every promise is sacred only when honored with truth, and that I was worthy of a partner who would cherish my trust rather than betray it. Now, as I sit in the soft, comforting glow of my modest apartment, a space that stands as a testament to my journey from heartbreak to healing, I reflect on everything that has led me to this point. The memory of that hidden email, with its intimate confessions and painful revelations, remains etched in my heart as a reminder of how fragile trust can be. Yet, it is also a symbol of the strength I discovered within myself, a strength that allowed me to confront the truth, to reclaim my dignity, and to rebuild my future from the ruins of deception. Every sunrise is now a promise of a new beginning, a chance to rewrite my story and to shape a future defined by truth, honesty, and self-respect. I now move forward with an unshakable conviction that I deserve nothing less than a love built on transparency. A future where trust is not a fragile illusion but a solid foundation for all that I hold dear. I am no longer defined by the betrayal that shattered my world. I am defined by my resilience, my ability to rise above the lies, and my unwavering belief in my own worth. Every new day is an invitation to embrace a future that is entirely my own, a future where the pain of the past is transformed into the strength that carries me forward. This is my story, a journey of shattered dreams and heart-wrenching betrayal, and ultimately, of the triumphant reclamation of my life. I trusted her with my everything, believed in every promise of devotion, and built my world around the love we shared. But when I discovered that hidden email revealing her double life with another man, everything I believed in crumbled into bitter fragments. In that devastating moment, I found the strength to gather every piece of evidence, to confront the painful truth, and to reclaim my future from the ruins of deception. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of raw, unfiltered pain has led me to this point, a place where I now stand as a survivor determined to live a life defined by truth, honesty, and the unyielding promise that I am worthy of a love that is real. Every sunrise is a fresh start, a new chapter waiting to be written, a chance to redefine my destiny. I move forward with a heart that, though scarred, beats with hope and a spirit unbroken by the lies of the past. I have learned that while betrayal may leave scars that never fully fade, those scars are not marks of defeat but symbols of my resilience. I am the author of my own future, and with every new day, I choose to embrace the brilliant light of truth, to honor my worth, and to build a life where genuine love and trust reign supreme.